Okay.
Okay, so I think it should be
It's
recording
recording.
now.
Okay, excellent.
Give it the old speaker view.
All
Okay,
right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and kind of show you the first place to go to just access and view all of the resources that we have that we've kind of discussed.
got
So let me just go ahead and pull that up. My share button will work here. There we go. All right. So are you seeing the screen here? Career Help on Demand.
yes.
Okay, excellent. So first up, colorado.edu/career. That's our website. That will take you to our homepage right here.
Hmm.
And from here, we have a ton of stuff on the website. So it gets a little tricky to kind of parse through all of this. So what I'd like to recommend you do is just go to colorado.edu/career, our homepage, scroll down a little bit to this section, how career services can help you. And then Career Help on Demand is basically all of our career tech tools. So
Okay,
that's the easiest way to go ahead and access that. I can also just pop this link into the chat. And this will bring you right to this page, this Career Help on Demand page.
great.
So
Okay,
either of those two ways are the best way to kind of go and find where all of our tools are organized.
okay, perfect. I can make sure that the students get access to that link. But
Okay,
this
awesome.
this this on-demand page is like the landing page for everything that they'll be accessing.
You got it. Yep, everything should be listed on this page. And they'll all link out to their own kind of pages and descriptions and things like that.
Right.
But this is the best place to go to just find everything organized in one spot.
Great.
So I'm going to go through some of the resources that we chatted about and just kind of show you how to access that resource and what that resource can do. So I'll start over here in the major explorations. We have one, two, I think really like these three, all of these you can use right now, and none of them require like a login or specific access or anything along those lines, unless we have the challenge. Yes, except for the challenge cards right here. So I'll walk through that and how to access that as well. But I'll start with Lightcast here. So Lightcast is internal software that we use at Career Services, and it's basically skills, jobs, occupational kind of reports. They scrape all the big job posting platforms, and then they compile all that data on like a daily basis. So it's really great information. And that's all internal to our office. So that's not like a student facing platform. But what you can do is click on this and it will bring you to this little overview. And what you can do is request a skills report. So the skills report is essentially our office um, viewing everything that you fill out through this report and then developing a report through Lightcast to then share with you. So you could pick a specific industry, a specific skill set, a location. There's all of these different things that you can do. So if I click this, you'll just see right here, it's going to ask just for some basic information. You can see student ID isn't required here. So you should be able to just pop in a generic email address, whatever you need to do here. And you can fill out this information, hit submit, and then we'll get a skills request. We'll get a skills presentation over to your email address. If you want to go like a little deeper with that skills report, or you want a different skills report, anything along those lines, you can always reach out to our office and just let us know that you're looking for like something a little bit different. You can fill this out again, or you could go to the homepage and it should pop up right down here. We have a chat right here. This is a really easy way to reach out to our front desk and they run those skills reports. So if you have any questions about any technology at any point, you can use this little chat here to get those questions answered, or feel free to reach out directly to me or Crystal or anyone like this.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome. So yeah, those skills reports are really great. It's a nice place to kind of start to just learn a little bit about a specific industry, a specific skill. So really great platform that we utilize here. The next kind of technology we have is called the major card sort. That's how we refer to it, but choose a major is what the title is right here. So this is like a card sort activity. And if you click in here, you can read this little description. It's a free online tool that can help you identify the top CU Boulder majors that align with your interest. It takes about 15 to 25 minutes to complete. And all you have to do to access this is click this button here. This says, please provide your identity. What you can do is just pop any email in there. That's totally fine.
So for
And that
our,
will work.
oh,
What was
sorry.
that?
So for our students, should they give the email that we use to set them up with this?
Yeah, I would say that would probably be best, but even if they don't, it's probably okay.
Okay.
All they're really looking for is an email right here, and then I'll pop this into the chat as well. But I believe the code that they're going to use is CU Career. So it will prompt you for a code, and that code is CU Career. So that should be the whole thing to access this. And this is a really fun activity, especially if you don't really know what you want to major in, or if you're trying to understand like what your major, how your major aligns with industry and what types of occupations kind of live there. It's a really fun activity to do. So that's the major card sort. And then we have these three as well. Majors by career interest, like what I want to do with this major. This isn't anything that you have to access. It basically just lives right here. And you can see we're over in the program and exploratory studies now. We've kind of left career services. But this is basically, I want to, be an engineer. You can click into this and learn more about like what it's like to be an engineer. And there's a bunch of information here. It goes into different majors, most surprising majors, things you can do, how to get experience, get connected. So all these really great resources live within each of these. And this is something that you can just access by clicking that link. No other access necessary. What can I do with this major? This one, I don't know if we chatted about access for this one.
I don't
And
know.
that is because you don't need access. So it kind of looks like you do at first, but you don't. You just have to click through those couple of pages. So just click this right here. And then you're brought to something that's pretty similar. It's just breaking down major categories and kind of how they relate to industries. So just another great place to explore. And you can see we have all of these different pop downs. So if we want to look at game design, we can click in there, see what common career paths are, some employers, and keep going and going. So just a ton of information lives here. And again, this is like a totally different platform at this point. We're not on career services anymore. So this is just the company. What can I do with this major? So feel free to dive into that resource as well. We've had a lot of students say that that is really good to look through. Programs from a different lens. So this is, again, going to bring us over to a different site. This is exploratory studies, and you can just click through majors, business majors, engineering majors, communication majors, all of this just providing a lot of information about how different majors line up with industries and skill sets. So those are some of the first ones in that major exploration. We're going to hop over to job and internship tools. I'm going to save Handshake for last, and Handshake and Quincia actually, because those require just a little bit more overview. So I'll talk about going global really quickly. Those would be the three in this area that we're going to discuss today. So going global is international job postings and advice. And essentially, you have to be on a VPN to access the site content. So that's really the only thing that you would have to do is have the on-campus VPN to access this one. Once we do access, you can see that there are career guides, job searching, internship searching, H-1B OPT information, employer directory search. This is a huge database, and it has some really comprehensive career guides that go really deep. So you could go to like a specific country, and you could learn a ton of information about that country, how they recruit, what jobs typically look like, what resumes look like,
Wow.
what industries look like. So just tons and tons of information here. I can kind of click in a little bit and show you like what a country guide looks like. So if we went to like Chile, for example, and clicked into here, we have all of these resources for this country. And as we click these drop downs, you can see that there's tons of resources in each one. So like, what do their resumes and cover letters look like in Chile? They're going to be a lot different than what we have in the US. So if you're looking to work in this country or just explore this country, this is a really, really robust platform to just learn about all things career in a different country.
This is wild. I didn't even know that this was a resource.
Yeah, we really love this resource, and it doesn't get used a lot. So we really like it, and it has just so much information. I went to business school at CU Denver and did like an international business thing, and we talked about going global a lot as a great place to go to just learn like what business practices look like in a different country. So if you're just interested, it's a great place to go. You can look at what it's like to live there, what does housing look like, transportation, How do you network in these places? Just general resources. So tons and tons of stuff. I definitely recommend hopping in here to just kind of explore. Going all the way back. So I think we'll leave it at that for now. Forever Buffs Network is very specific to CU Boulder alumni and students. And then the professional headshots, this is something that lives in our office. We basically have a photo booth where students can come take professional photos. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let us know and we could probably arrange that.
Yeah, I bet there are a few students who would really appreciate doing that.
Okay, totally. Yeah. It doesn't get used all the time. And it's they have really good headshots. I can kind of, let's see, can I pop my video off? Yeah. This is a headshot I took using the Iris photo booth. So yeah, they look pretty good. And yeah, that always lives in our office and is always available to students at any time that we're open. So just to let you know about that too. Over here, some of the same. Here's the challenge cards again and ONET again. Glassdoor, if you're not familiar with Glassdoor, this doesn't have any access associated with it as well, aside from maybe signing up for an account. If you do want like that free account, you can sign up with an email address and a password. But this is a great place to just understand what people think about the companies that they're working at. They'll post information about what their day-to-day is like, if they like the direction of the company, all that great stuff. So you can learn a little bit about a company that way. And you can also like read about what people are making at these positions, like they're self-reporting what their salaries are. So you can get some pretty good information. And you can look at like people can post what their interview experience was like at a company. So they went in for an interview. It was kind of like this. They asked these types of questions. The interview felt really safe and comfortable, stuff like that, or it did not. So that's a really good place to go. I use Glassdoor all the time to just see what people are up or what people think about certain companies. We have lots of companies requesting access to Handshake to network with our students on campus. And if we have questions about a particular company, we'll go to Glassdoor, read the reviews of people who work there, what the interview processes were like, and kind of get a pulse on whether or not this is. Are there any resources aside from Handshake and Quincia that I'm missing?
Um, let's see. That might be the main ones that we talked about. I do have a question though, actually, Jake, now that I'm thinking about it.
Totally.
Do you mind going back to the Going Global page?
Yeah, of course.
Um, so I'm noting students must be logged into the VPN on campus in order to access the site content. Is that like so like, here when I'm at home, I use the Cisco AnyConnect. Is that going to
Yep.
be the same for our students?
Yep.
And will
Yeah.
they just
That should give you access. Yep.
would they just use the emails that they use to like sign up for all this access?
Totally. As long as they can get on that VPN, that should work. And I'm not 100% sure that you need to be on it.
Okay.
It says that right here. I think that you do, and I think that's how we set it up. I think I've accessed it without that VPN on. So feel free to try. And if you run into an issue, definitely let us know.
Okay.
And we can work through that. But I believe, yeah, using the Cisco AnyConnect should get you access. And if you're on campus, easy to get on that VPN.
Perfect.
But
Okay.
yeah, you may be able to access without.
Okay, great. I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Totally. Yeah, great question.
Otherwise, that might be it. So we can move on to the heavy stuff.
Okay, cool. You might have seen these types of resources before, early learning. These are great places to go to just bolster skill sets, have more information about industry and skills, and work simpler. I believe this is going to take us to, let's see. This one is internal, I think, as well, but it could totally be worth it to just check out the site. It's kind of like gearing towards gig economy work. So I think we have like some type of subscription here and kind of work with students to find some of these opportunities, but gig economy is really taking off. It's something that is great to think about. So if you're just interested in that at all, all right. So going into Handshake, it's going to be our biggest resource that we use. I'm gonna go ahead and just click into this and kind of show you what this page looks like. you
Sure.
should have access to Handshake through email address. And we got all of that access set up. You're in the system already, so you should be able to go ahead and log into the system. If you can't, definitely let us know and we can get that all set up for you.
Okay.
But Handshake is a job posting platform, jobs and internships. They also host employer and career service events. So virtual events are posted to that system and in-person events are listed. You can register for the in-person events and career fairs and things like that through Handshake. And there are also pieces that kind of resemble something like Glassdoor, where you have company profiles. They show you some information about who they are as a company. And then some of the bigger accounts have a lot of students, former employees, alum who have come back and posted information about what it's like to work at that company, what the interview process was like, different types of skills that you should learn if you want to work at a particular company. So there's a ton of information in Handshake. And what I'll do now is kind of just navigate over to my Handshake profile from Student Lens and kind of just walk you through some of the pieces of Handshake that are kind of important to get the most out of the platform. So let me just switch to my student account here.
Jake, you're a little bit garbled sometimes, and I'm not
Oh, no.
what exactly is causing
Oh,
it.
okay.
It
Let
kind
me
of
try to stop sharing quick. That does look a little garbled. Is it still kind of occurring?
it's just kind of on and off, and it's just the audio. So like I don't know if it's like a bandwidth thing. So maybe like if you're sharing screen, maybe the camera off or something. But I don't, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Let me I'll pull the camera off.
Sorry about that. Oh,
Oh, no. Running into errors. All right.
okay, now the
I
screen's back up.
Okay. And am I still sounding kind of garbled? I am seeing I'm getting
This
some notifications about.
this sounds okay right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely let me know if that happens again and we can try to adjust.
Okay, right.
Um, awesome. All right. Well, here's Handshake, and this is basically the homepage that you'll see when you first log into the platform. This is a great place to go if you are just trying to get a pulse on Handshake and what recruiters are up to in the system. This homepage is tied directly to the information that you filled out on your profile. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But first, I'll just kind of show you. As I start to scroll down, I'm prompted with a bunch of these little sections, what it's really like to work there, career fair events, messaging employers, all these great things. I can always click down here to view more that are in this particular section. So I'll just chat about a few of these sections, what it's really like to work there. They're throwing like events at you right here. So these are events. You can see Deloitte has posted a lot of events recently. These are going to be events hosted by employers. And if I click view more events, I'm taken over to the event page and I can look at a ton of events from employers. We'll also see career fairs in here and events hosted by our university. But this is a great place to go to just explore some of the events that employers are hosting. And you can see there's a ton of students registered for some of these events and then not a lot of students registered for other events. These numbers down here are students from any university, not just CU Boulder. So if you find an event and you only have maybe 21 students going, you may be one of just a few CU Boulder students who are at that event. It's a great way to find like one-on-one time with an employer or just start networking a little bit. Also, a lot of these events, I'm sorry, are kind of leading towards like a specific skill that you could gain. Like we see banks having like tax related events where they're just teaching a specific tax skill set to students who register for the event. So you might find some really interesting events like that. And again, it's just a great place to go to network with employers. So really great that we have all these events here. Employers typically are posting anywhere from 20 to 50 of these events per day into Handshake. We're not approving all of them. We're just approving the ones that look the best to us. But all of that to say there are a ton of employer events. All of these are going to be virtual as well, unless they're like an on-campus affiliated employer who's attending a career fair or hosting an event with us. Everything else will be virtual that you can see right up top here, virtual sessions. Going down a little farther, these are career fair events. So these are going to be employers, these are going to be career offices, they're going to be large events, they're going to be smaller, like on-campus events with employers. But this is a great place to go to just learn about all the career fair events that we have. If you click this, it will look a lot like this first one. You'll just be kind of guided to a place with all of the events. Messaging employers. This is like a new feature that Handshake came out with recently. That's why it's kind of towards the top of my screen. Your screen might look totally different than this, and that's okay. It's just showing you particular types of features. But message employers is a great feature. All of these jobs have a recruiter who is associated with the position. They're telling you their name and how to get a hold of them, and they're encouraging you to reach out to them with any questions at any point along the application process. So I could click here and see more jobs. And now all of these jobs are going to have a recruiter associated with the position. So like for this first one, we can see Hank is the recruiter here. I can scroll down, learn about this position, and I can send Hank a message through Handshake. I can ask about the role, company culture, how to succeed in the application process, really anything that I want to do. But this is another great way to just network with recruiters on Handshake.
Nice.
Yeah, cool stuff. As I kind of keep going down here, there'll just be new sections that are recommended to me. And as I mentioned at the start, this is based on what you filled out on your profile. So like these are jobs that Handshake thinks I'd be interested in. I was a political science major, so these are popular within my major. And I can just keep going. It'll just keep auto-populating more sections for you. So that's a little bit of information about how the homepage works. And jumping over to our profile, this looks a lot like LinkedIn. So if you don't have LinkedIn, it's a great time to make one. If you do have a LinkedIn, it's a great opportunity to just copy and paste a bunch of information over from your LinkedIn onto Handshake. It's good to have both of those platforms kind of line up. And just a few quick notes on the profile. Getting to 100% complete makes you a lot more likely to get reached out to from recruiters. Recruiters can search based on skills. They can search majors. They can, and I think there's one other and interest in your interest section right here. So if you get this to 100% complete and you fill out all those sections, employers are just going to be a lot more likely to find you through the system. You can set this to private if you would like, but if it's private, employers can't find you. So we always encourage students to keep this public if they're open to that. Your interest section, this is like the main spot that your homepage is pulling from. So it's good to really fill out all of this info. Keep updating it whenever you want, whenever something changes a little bit for you, but keep this nice and updated and your homepage should function really well. You can see if any employers have come across your profile. And you can also add skills down here. You can add as many skills as you want. You can just type them in and add them right here. And you can add pretty much any skill you want. I've added some pretty silly skills here just to see if they'll actually pop up, and they always do. So I think this is just a text box that will add skills for you. So employers can search based on skills. So they'll give you a lot of prompts. Like if you're typing in marketing, it might prompt you for marketing. Employers are searching for marketing as a skill very often. They're probably searching for something like employer relations a lot less. So filling this out and keeping it updated is another great benefit for you in Handshake. The last thing I'll show you is the documents section here. This is where you can upload all of your documents. These can be resumes, cover letters, transcripts, and you can upload as many as you'd like.
Nice.
This other section represents, or looks a lot like LinkedIn. So pretty basic information here. The My Journey section, this feels a lot like an elevator pitch to me, kind of like a quick 30 seconds about you. And this is maybe one of the first things employers will see. So I do recommend making a good section right here. However you want to go about that is your call. And then we just have education, work and volunteer experience, looking a lot like LinkedIn, organizations and extracurriculars. You can add courses down here. And then lastly, you can add projects. These are basically just web links. So you could link out to different projects that you've been involved in that you'd like to highlight. So any questions so far, Mike?
I think this all seems pretty straightforward. Just to double confirm, our students will log into this using the same emails that they provided before.
Correct. Yep. And we've added them into the
Thorough.
system, so they should all have access.
Love
If
it.
anything, if you come in across anything where a student can't log in, just let us know and we'll take a look at it right away.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's great to know. Yeah, I think that seems all pretty straightforward.
Okay, very good. And I'll just show you a few other quick things. So we went through the homepage, we went through our profile a little bit. If you want to do a deeper job search, you can click on jobs right here. And this is going to be jobs and internships. They're all in one spot. Really, all the opportunities are in one spot here. And you can see there's 35,000 positions right now. So that's a lot to parse through. What I like to do is use these filters right here and then keywords. That's how I like to search. You could also click all filters and do a filtered search this way, where there's a lot more that you can fill out. I don't do this as often just because I think employers tend to not put the most like up-to-date information in their job postings. Sometimes they miss something. So when you search based on all filters, you're kind of really hoping that the employer filled out the information in the way that the filters work. And that's just not always the case, but you can definitely use the filters to search for positions. What I like to do is just go across these first. So I'll specify a location like Denver, and maybe I'll say 50 miles. That sounds pretty good. I'll specify whether I want to be on-site, remote, or hybrid. So for this, let's say I want to be on-site. Am I looking for a full-time job? Am I looking for an internship or a part-time job? Let's say internship. So now we have these filters on, and we're already down to 679 opportunities. And then I'll go in here and just use keywords. So I could use a keyword like sports. And if I search for that, now I'm down to 40 positions that should relate to sports, that should be internships that are on site around the Denver area. So that's the way I like to search for positions. Let's say that we come across this first position and we're interested in it. We can always save this position by clicking that right there. Now this position is saved. I can also save this search. So right here, notify me about new jobs like this. I can click this. And now I will get job alerts that have these filters on them. I can manage how I receive those notifications right here. So just something to note, if you do a big filtered search and you don't want to have to do that again, you can always save that right here. So say I came across this part-time internship and I want to apply to it. I would first just learn a little bit about the role, scroll down, read the description. I was going to save Coco for last, but Coco is in beta right now, beta test mode. This is Handshake's AI, and they're trying to really line this up so students can use it to search for jobs and learn about jobs, learn about different industries. Like I said, it's in beta mode right now, so they're kind of testing it, but it's being tested at our school. So please feel free to use Coco as much as you want, see what it can do, try to break Coco, have fun with it. But you can see right here, we're prompted to use Coco if we have any questions about this role. So that's great. I can go down a little farther, see if I meet all the qualifications and preferences. Even if I don't, I can always apply to the position. Handshake will never prevent that. I could follow this company if I want. I could go over to their profile, all of this great stuff. So say I do some of that and I feel like I want to either apply for this position or learn a little more. I would go ahead and probably message this recruiter because they're listed here. And that's just going to be a great place to start. The recruiter's here. I'd love to let the recruiter know at least that I'm applying for the position or any questions that I have, or just to make a connection with the recruiter. It's a great opportunity to do that. So I would probably do that, get some information, and then I'd go ahead and apply. If it says apply externally, this is saying, hey, this recruiter posted to Handshake, but they might not monitor Handshake all the time. And they certainly don't want you to apply on Handshake. They want you to click this button. Handshake is going to, right now, this is a little funky. They changed this a little while ago, but it's right now, it's popping this up. So basically what this is saying is I have to click apply externally. I have to apply through Handshake first, and then there's additional instructions. And those additional instructions are prompting me to go to an external application that's going to be on a different website. That's a really important piece if it says apply externally, because basically what it's saying is, hey, we might not be monitoring the applications through Handshake. We have a different process for applications. So you really want to make sure if it says apply externally, that you get your application in through that external link. Handshake right now is forcing you to also apply through Handshake first before you complete that second step, but you want to make sure you complete that external application for any positions you're interested in.
Got it.
This one says quick apply. Maybe that's the difference that they have. So if I say quick apply, oh, that's just going to pop it right up here. They got a bunch of new application features. So quick apply, they just have this whole box set up for you, and you're just going to apply right through here. And yeah, or you can attach your resume as well, but I think they want you to apply through all of this as well. So I would really gear up towards what the employers are asking you to do. I'm kind of looking for one that says just apply. So this one that says apply, it doesn't have any external application, and this employer should be monitoring Handshake. So you would just finish your application right here, hit submit application, and you would be done at that point. So just a little bit of nuance for how the applications work, but the main piece is that if you see apply externally, you want to make sure you apply on that external website. The last couple things I want to show you, employers have profiles. We kind of talked about Glassdoor a little bit. So this kind of feels like Glassdoor to me. If I use Google as an example, I can click onto their profile and I can learn a lot of information about Google. I can see any featured jobs that they have. They have a bunch of videos they've uploaded. There's an employee perspective section that I can click through. That's kind of cool. There's contact information. So I even have an email address right here. That's great. I have a bunch of links. That's awesome. And as I go farther, you can see there's like a question and answer section. So I could click into here and see all the questions that have been posed to Google through Handshake. I can see all of the answers. I can see students who have worked here. These will be from any university, but I can message and network with these students or alum now who have worked at these companies. There's a tip section, there's news, so just a bunch of information. Up at the top, I also have these three sections. So any jobs they have, interviews, and reviews. So the interviews are going to say like, hey, what was your interview like? What was this process like? And you can see there's a bunch of information here. I could ask James about the experience after reading this. And same with reviews. Very similar feel, but just a bunch of information that people have posted about what it was like to work at Google. This is just taking a second to load, but yeah, all of these sections will just be students, alum who worked at Google and felt like they wanted to come share a review of what that experience was like. Your inbox oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I got it. I'm following.
Oh, awesome.
Sorry.
Excellent. Oh, no trouble at all. On the employer piece too, you can do filtered searches to find employers. So if you don't find the employer, we might not have connected with that particular employer yet. They might not be using Handshake, but you can do a little search here, find any employer, and go ahead and hop into their platform or into their profile and do all those same things. You could follow them, you could learn about the reviews, all of that great stuff. We have an inbox right here, and this inbox is where you'll get notifications from recruiters. So all of these are going to be messages that recruiters have sent. Very often, as you saw just a moment ago, I kind of half fill out an application and kind of indicate interest. I'll very often get a follow-up just from doing that. But a lot of these are just employers who found my profile and are sending over opportunities that they think I would be good for. So that's always great. It's nice to get these kind of notifications. And the more you're using Handshake, the more your profile is being filled out, the better this is all going to feel for you, the more messages you'll probably get from recruiters. So just to let you know that that's how the inbox works. We have our Career Center linked over here. This is a lot like our website, but we have a ton of resources listed over here that you can always access. And then, as I mentioned, Coco is kind of in the beta phase right now. But this is what it looks like. I can start kind of clicking these and Coco will give me a response. I can also go down here and I can message Coco, and I have a history section here where I could go back and pull out any of the history for any of the previous chats. So if there's something that was really great and then I exit out of Coco, I can always come back to the history here and find that conversation. I think that it's pretty basic at this point, like especially compared to something like ChatGPT, but this is all specifically for Handshake. Okay. And Yeah, it's a pretty fun, cool feature. I had a student intern and I told her to go ahead and come in here and just ask it whatever questions she could think about different industries and jobs and majors and all of that great stuff. And we found some really great information. We also felt like a lot of the responses were kind of canned. So I think that's why it's in beta right now. But yeah, it's really fun to play around with this, and we would love to hear back from any of your students what their experiences were like using Coco.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like it's maybe trained a little bit on like what is on Handshake.
That's where we think they're trying to go. We
Yeah,
think what they're trying to do is pull information from profiles from your own profile and kind of link that up to the homepage and be able to give you an opportunity, like a recommendation. But right now, I can't get it to send like a specific job opportunity to me. It
got it.
more just gives me general recommendations.
Okay.
But that's Handshake. Anything else that you want me to kind of touch on before we hop over to Quincy?
No, I think this is great. Thank you.
Awesome. Oh yeah, of course. So let me stop sharing here and just load up Quincia. Right. And I can be pretty quick on Quincia here. This is a very new tool for our office. We had something before called VMock, and we switched away from VMock to Quincia.
Right.
We just liked a few of the features that Quincia was offering. One of the features that we really liked is like an AI interview experience. So you can basically record yourself doing a mock interview and then get a lot of feedback from Quincia. They'll talk about like how your face looked, what kind of emotions your face was likely giving off. Doesn't matter how you felt about that. Not really saying like, hey, you seem angry right now. Not that at all. But saying like, hey, like this is kind of what your facial features were emoting throughout that experience. So maybe you felt like this, maybe you felt like that, just to let you know. And a ton of other things like how you're moving, what the background looks like, how the sound quality is, all of these different things for like what a mock virtual interview looks like. You can also relate a lot of this to what an in-person interview would feel like. So we really like that feature specifically in Quincia. In addition to giving you information about like what your interview process is kind of feeling like, you can upload a resume and kind of go through your resume and get a bunch of information about how your resume is looking, keywords, applicant tracking system information, like will this get through an applicant tracking system or not, just general feedback for your resume. And one thing is to know is that you'll basically go ahead and access it. And then you'll create an account and activate your license, and you need a PDF of your resume to upload. You'll get a score and you'll get feedback, but you can't edit your resume in Quincia. You have to go back and make those changes on your own. So it's nice to have your resume pulled up somewhere where you can go ahead and make changes and then have Quincia up as well. So you can see really quickly what those changes are and go kind of work your resume however you'd like to do that. But yeah, that's just a quick note. You can't edit your resume in Quincia. And we have a little guide right here that provides more details about like what the analysis will look like. And yeah, that's available to you whenever you'd like. When you activate a license, we do have a limited number of licenses. So the way Quincia works is you have to log into the system and then actually activate your license to start using the system. And that is when we'll get a notification that you're in there and we can kind of see
Got it.
all of that information.
Okay.
So again, Quincy is pretty new. We are kind of running into an issue with how many licenses we have, but we just got a lot more. So totally fine on that lens. But if you run into any type of access like problem, definitely let us know and we can work through that. I just can't totally remember off the bat if we decided to give you alumni access, which I think we might have done it that way. So maybe I'll go back through and just make sure that we have that all figured out. Alum access Quincia a little bit differently. And I do think that that's the way that it's set up right now, that you have the alumni access. So let me just pull this up really quick and see. See if I can find this one. The only difference is that the access is it's a specific link. And I do have that link available. So maybe after this call, we can just figure out which one of those two processes we did to access Quincia, and I can send over that link if you
Sure.
need that.
Yeah, no problem. Sounds great.
Okay, excellent. Really, that's all of the tools that we chatted about, and the only ones that you need to access are the card sort, like we talked about, and that's just any email, and then the CU career keyword to go ahead and access that, and then Handshake, which we've set everybody up on, and then Quincia, and I'll follow up right after this. I just got to dig through my emails and see which one of those two we landed on. Oh, sorry, I think you're on mute.
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry. That all sounds great. I'll
Excellent.
go ahead and share this all with the students, and we'll probably try to get some folks together to, practice, and I'll send any questions your way.
Okay, awesome. The last thing I'll mention real quick is that if we did choose the alumni access for Quincia, you get one resume upload and one interview, I believe. And then I think that that's pretty much the end of that access before an alum would have to kind of pay for that service.
Got it.
So I think that that way. So just to know that you might just
Okay. Noted. Cool. Thank you. All right, let me stop the
yeah,